So good evening. Welcome to a little presentation about product design in years 12 and 13. Normally you'd be arriving on an open evening to a lovely room with hopefully some students in and plenty of things to look at, see and ask questions about, with some helpful staff there to answer them. But due to COVID, we're doing it this way. But do please feel free, if you're a student, to pop and see me anytime you like. If you're a parent, by all means, give us a call on the school number. Or if you ask your son, daughter, I can forward you my email if they don't have it already. They should be able to find me on their email account. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. So if you read the bottom, it says there, product design in design technology is supposed to be an inspiring, rigorous and practical subject. It certainly is if you get involved. And the specification we follow is the WJC. It does demand students to be creative and brave, and it is hard work. And if you're someone who enjoys drawing and being creative, you're probably going to find it very enjoyable. If you're someone who's not great at drawing, there are ways around that, but you're going to have to give it a go, work hard, make some good models, and maybe teach yourself some CAD as well. And basically, the course is very similar to product design at GCSE, or engineering design at GCSE, or fashion and textiles at GCSE, in that we make prototypes that solve real problems, and we try and focus on others' needs, not just our own. So in year 12, I try and get students to focus on IKEA as a company, and we try and design a product for IKEA or an existing IKEA product range. Sometimes to try and push innovation, and students will try and come up with some new or novel way of doing something, a new or novel way of using a material. And it's about, being inventive, I guess, if you like. So as I've said, we follow the GCSE and A-level design technology specification with the WJC. If you read the bottom page there, we've got 4 assessed units. That's 2 units in lower 6 or year 12 and 2 in year 13. And this is what those 2 units look like at a glance. So on the left, we've got the AS units. One is an exam, which is 2 hours long, which is worth half of your AS level or 20% of your A level. And the other is a design and make task, which is assessed in school. And normally a moderator comes and checks our marking of that. And that, again, is worth equal marks as the exams. That's half your AS level is coursework. And that's the same with the A-level, except the A-level, there's a larger weighting towards the A-level. So I guess year 13 is worth 60% of your A-level grade. Lots of people worry about the exam, I think. The exam is fairly straightforward, really. If we've covered the work and the syllabus, there's not a lot there that should catch you out. They always throw curveballs in. But if we look at the question on the left-hand side at the top about the pen lid, it's asking us about injection molding and asking us to give 2 reasons for using injection molding as a process. I asked you that very question in your recent year 11 exam before half term, or just after half term you sat it, and many of you did get that correct. So the questions aren't necessarily any harder. Sometimes they give us less information, although when you look at the pen lid question, that's giving us more information than what I gave you in your recent test. The other question on the right hand side is about a car and about life cycle of products, and we do cover that in some detail, and that again is a fairly straightforward thing to understand with any product, really, that there's an introduction of a product such as your iPhone 12, and over time that product reaches point A, which is saturation, and then it starts to decline, and by then we'll probably be having an iPhone 15. So you can rate that to anything that we all use. The bottom left, then, at the end of the exam, they always ask a longer question. It's worth 12 marks on this example, and that was about James Dyson. The 2 designers you would need to know a bit about are James Dyson and Bethan Gray, which are currently the same designers you have for GCSE. So it's only building on what you already know. And if you haven't taken product design GCSE, bear in mind that our 4 highest performing students last year didn't take product design at GCSE either, and their A-level grades were A star and 3 A's. So it doesn't run through that just because you didn't take it at GCSE, you can't achieve a very high grades in this subject A-level. It's all about the effort you're prepared to put in and your ability to learn. and do your best. So we welcome anyone who has the drive and passion for design that enables them to be successful. Coursework is the bit many people enjoy. Again, this breaks down the 2 units. Unit 2 is the one you sit in the 6th form, and you can see that's worth 80 marks. And Unit 4 is the one you sit, in Year 13. So Year 12, Unit 2, and Year 13, Unit 4. Difference between this and GCSE is I would actually get you to go on retail visits. So I will demand you go to John Lewis or IKEA. Lower 6th this year, we're looking at IKEA as a company, and we're designing for IKEA. We look at clients and people who we're designing for. The lad on the left, we'll introduce him a bit later, but he looked at plywood and non-traditional materials being used in bicycles. And he was looking at trendy commuters in London as his sort of client board. And he developed all sorts of laminated products, but his successful mudguard actually won an award, and I'll come to that in a moment. So yeah, coursework, as you can see, they're very similar. The weightings are slightly different. Now, another difference is in Year 12, I'll ask you to produce a sketchbook and a portfolio. So your portfolio, if you were studying this year, would contain all the very neat presentation work you were going to show IKEA, the lead designer at IKEA. So all your official things, all the presentation work, your proper written work, all the things you type up and do in best. Your sketchbook is all the sort of rough things. Some people do draw neatly, like this person here. Some people rough notes, shopping lists, to-do lists, photographs of your cardboard models, photographs of the drawing over, which many of you are already doing, and maybe some CAD projections of what a product you're developing could look like. But yeah, sketchbooks is sort of the jotter, the rough book, the scrapbook, if you like, and your portfolio will have all of your best presentation stuff in. So there's some examples of sketchbook work. Practical work is another one a lot of you do enjoy. We need to do more of it. This COVID is being a bit of a pain. We've got cardboard modeling top left. So once we've sketched our ideas, as we currently do, we will prototype them. We don't have to do that in cardboard. We can do them roughly. We can do them laser cut. We can do them in blue foam. We can do them in paper. It doesn't matter. And then we develop it on to be a finished prototype. You can see bottom left that we've got some complicated wiring in there. We seem to have students who love doing lighting, speakers, but combining things maybe we've done lower down the school in a more complex way to be a thought out product by the time we get to Year 13. I hope the video will work. It's just an example of another project that a student did. This was one of my favorite ones 2 or 3 years ago now. It was laminated pieces of plywood which are glued together, very thin pieces glued together. All the pieces were cut on the laser cutter, so the student didn't actually sit there with a saw and cut them all. They were all cut on the laser cutter. They were very complicated to glue together, so that was a mission impossible. He had to make a special sort of clamping device to get them to clamp together. And you can see from the bottom of the pictures, he's got some quite detailed CAD drawings as well. So this student achieved an A. I can't remember if he had an A star, but he's definitely an A grade student. And a really nice piece of work. You think of all the wiring that's hidden away inside that for those lights to work. And I can remember at one point, one of the lights stopped working. So we had a right mission to get that missing light bulb to work as well. So it can be challenging, it can be tough, but it's about being resilient and not giving up. Sometimes a student gets it very right. So this lad, Ketlan, a few years ago, was awarded first place for all the students who study product design with the WJC. So that's just not Welsh students. We've got students at the WJC in Surrey and all over schools in England as well as abroad. He won himself a tidy £500, and it was this product, which was basically his lower 6 light flipped around and turned into a mode guard. For those who I teach, his initial light from lower 6 is on my desk. So you can come and see it, and you can see the resemblance between the two. But that product was given an innovation award with the WJC, and we had a lovely day and food down in the Welsh Assembly building with some politicians, which was good. So when we look at where last year's students are now, he says, I don't know if I'm allowed to name them, but I am. So we've got a list down the left-hand side. This is my A-level group from last year. There's one missing. I don't know what he's doing. We've got accountancy, product design, psychology and education. Mikhail's gone off to engineering in Santiago in Chile. More product design. So I was quite pleased last year in the number of students that did go into higher education just to keep themselves going and further their potential careers. Lots of students do come to us wanting to study engineering at university. I think the key subjects you need to consider there that you could do alongside something like product design would be maths and physics, and you need to be good at maths and physics and be willing to work hard at maths and physics. We get some very creative students who come to us from art and design. So you may have studied art and design at GCSE. This would be another subject that would really complement that if you are very good art and design wise, especially if you're interested in things like graphics, graphic design, architecture, interior design. In product design, you can design anything really that fits in with what your interest is, and we will support you to do that. So it's up to you. And then there's a little link at the bottom. I do suggest you all start looking at universities as soon as possible if you fancy going on to higher education. Definitely worth preparing now, and then you can see the entry requirements to courses, the grades you might need, subjects you might need to look at doing. But any questions, like I said, pop and see me. Mums and dads, any questions, give us a ring on the phone or email. Your son, daughter should be able to access my email address via their email address in school. Thank you very much.